All right, thanks, Caribe. Now to the latest on the coronavirus. We know that this is what is on the minds of all of you out there, and we want to make sure that you have the latest facts. So here's what we know right now. According to the Arizona Department of Health Services, there have been 27 cases of the coronavirus across Arizona. 11 in Maricopa County, 8 in Pinal, 5 in Pima, 1 in Graham, and 2 in Navajo. Thankfully, no one has died. So far, 265 tests have been sent to the state public health lab. 148 have come back negative, but there are still 102 tests pending. And today, the Cincinnati Reds baseball team say an Arizona-based employee has tested positive for the virus. In a tweet, the team said it wanted to send a precautionary notice to anyone who was inside the team's spring training complex, Goodyear Ballpark, between February 29th and March 14th. All staff members who came in close contact with the employee who tested positive are being tested and have been self-quarantined. Today, Governor Ducey took a tour of the State Emergency Operations Center as Arizona's response to handling the coronavirus continues to change and update every day, and the response at the local level is causing a lot of confusion. Different cities taking on different rules and some more drastic measures. The mayor of Phoenix, Kate Gallego, declared a state of emergency yesterday, limiting restaurants to takeout only, while neighboring cities have left them open for business. When Governor Ducey was asked why there isn't a single statewide measure, he said this.
I'm going to respect local leaders' decisions, but the decisions that we make from the governor's office are statewide. And these are the responsible guidance and direction for our state at this time.
The governor also said his decision is based on the guidance of the CDC, National Institutes of Health, and the State Health Department. Yesterday, the city of Mesa became one of a handful of cities in Arizona to declare a state of emergency. The declaration gives the city additional options to resources to act quickly to deal with the threat of coronavirus spreading in Mesa. The city has closed down all the city buildings and events that can attract large crowds like museums and the Mesa Arts Center. Unlike some other cities here in the valley, the declaration does not force bars and restaurants to close or limit their services to just drive-through. But the mayor strongly encourages businesses to follow the CDC's recommendations to avoid crowds of more than 10 people.
Right now, it's not mandated that a restaurant close for on-site dining. But if we are seeing this become a problem, if we have large crowds that are congregating in bars and restaurants and putting the public health at risk, we might need to mandate it in the city of Mesa, much like it's occurred in other parts of the country.
Mayor Giles says he is in constant communication with the governor's office and local and national health officials.